Donald Tusk is a politician who bows before German chancellors. No matter who is in power in Berlin, or what they might want from him. Yesterday, the day before the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, the new German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, arrived in Warsaw, which was almost razed to the ground by the Germans in 1939. And as a welcome, he heard these words from Prime Minister Donald Tusk. You know very well, this diplomatic decision about not pursuing reparations from Germany was made during the communist era. We didn't really have a say in the matter. We didn't decide it. Did Germany ever make reparations for the losses, the tragedies of World War II? No, but we are not going to ask for it. This is a matter to think about. Poland doesn't have to ask the Germans for anything. It's enough that they pay the bill for what they did during the war. Material losses have already been calculated under the Law and Justice government. They amount to 6.2 trillion zloty, or around 1.5 trillion euros. This includes destroyed cities, looted works of art, stolen property of individuals and companies. But instead of money that could have developed Poland, the Germans in front of the Bundestag have set up a stone of remembrance for Poland in 1939 to 1945. So let's summarize. He admits they owe us 6 trillion, but we won't ask for it anymore because it's a matter to think about. And what is there to think about? They destroyed half our country, murdered millions of people, burned the capital to the ground, and gave a third of our territory to Russia. For almost 50 years afterwards, we couldn't develop normally because we were under the communist yoke. And that's why the West has an advantage over us. And Donald Tusk said exactly what the German Chancellor wanted to hear on reparations. In fact, he repeated his words. As far as the legal issues in the context of possible reparations are concerned, they are over. But we are not going to ask for it. This is a matter to think about. The topic of reparations, it's no longer that it needs to be settled for the sake of simple justice, but without the settlement of reparations, Germany should not be able to count on any Polish government for proper, not to mention friendly, relations. The Law and Justice Party's government was firm in demanding from Berlin the payment due. The governments have changed, as have priorities. And they say they won't pay anything, despite the fact they have finished paying reparations to other countries. They have paid reparations even to some African countries, but they won't pay Poland, because the Polish Prime Minister did so. This is a shame and disgrace that we ourselves relinquish something we owe to the next generation of Poles. The current and future generation of Poles also deserve security and development, and that should be a priority for the Prime Minister. But Donald Tusk not only renounces reparations, but also restricts big Polish projects like the Central Communications Port and the gas port in Świnoujście. The Oder River is not deepened on the Polish side, so that Polish commercial shipping does not compete with the Germans. Tusk also applauds the idea of pushing American troops and companies out of Europe to entrust security to Berlin and Brussels. This is a man who seems to be the resident of the German government in Poland, not the Polish Prime Minister. It is sad but true. All investments that were supposed to support the development of Poland are unwelcome to Germany, and thus are simply boycotted by Donald Tusk and his government. And one more thing, Muslim immigrants. They have turned the lives of residents of German cities and towns into hell. So Berlin has decided to shift the problem onto the Poles. German police officers are already dropping off unwanted newcomers from the Middle East and North Africa on the Polish side of the border. And this is just the beginning, as even German journalists admit. I would like to remind you that an election campaign is underway in Poland. Tusk cannot, right now, afford to officially accept the immigrants being sent back from Germany. He can't do it publicly. That is, we can soon expect an even greater flood of Islamic immigrants, because a weakened Poland, including on its eastern flank, is in the interests of both Germany and Russia. We are dealing with a very serious conflict of Polish and German geopolitical interests. But we also have a Prime Minister who has very good relations with Germany. Many Poles even think these relations are a bit too good.